Good evening and you are welcome to Family TV. This is the Citizens Brief. My name is Ramsnon and we get to talk about different things in this segment, and today we talk matters of security, matters of repatriation, and who is being repatriated to Uganda are the ex-LRA rebels and their families gotten from the jungles of the Central African Republic. I am joined by the Deputy UPDF spokesperson, Deo Akiiki, and we get to know when these were actually turned into the UPDF hands. They are being repatriated today. What next for them? So Afande, many Ugandans thought it is ADF, and now we are talking about LRA.
Yes, Mr. Mahirwa, we have been having unfinished business, and since 2006, when LRA fighters could not stand the pressure of the UPDF in northern Uganda and some parts of southern Sudan, they moved further through the jungles of DRC. You remember Operation Lightning Thunder. We hit them from DRC, and they moved further into areas in Central African Republic. We followed them in areas of Obo and so on and so forth until they got lost into the community, but later on, through United Nations, through other agencies, and through the government of Central African Republic, they were able to gather themselves into a place called Imboki, and they have been living in Imboki for quite some time until, through the United Nations mission in Central African Republic and other agencies that are working with UN and Central African Republic government, a program was organized together with the government of Uganda to do what we call repatriation, rehabilitation, reintegration, and resettlement of these former fighters. The program now has been on for quite some time, since July throughout August. In July, we managed to bring back a total of 77 of these former fighters, and now we are bringing more 67 fighters. A total number is now coming to 147, because the first batch that was brought in on the 22nd of July 2023 was moved to a resettlement center in a transition center, I would say, in Mijera, before we move on to other programs. And the wives of those fighters came when they were pregnant, so they gave birth to 3 children, and the number now is at 80. So when you add on the current one, which is coming of 67, we shall have a number of 147. So today and tomorrow, we are yet receiving the final batch of LRA ex-combatants, the women and children. We are having one batch coming in today, and tomorrow we're having another batch, which will make a total of 67 personnel coming. And we shall have a reception at the Entebbe airport and have a function there to officially communicate to the world and to Uganda that this repatriation exercise has ended, so that we move on to other levels of rehabilitation, reintegration, and resettlement into the community. And this will mark the end of the LRA conflict, because unless you go through that DRR program, you cannot say that the conflict has fully ended. So we are at the tail end of ending the LRA insurgency in northern Uganda, throughout DRC and Central African Republic.
Find you for Amnesty.
Well, before this took place, we have been in touch with all of these organs, both the International Amnesty, the Amnesty Commission here in Uganda, the CAR, the government of Central African Republic, government of Uganda, United Nations. All of the actors have been playing their parts. For those who got amnesty, they got it. For those who are, like these ones who are going home, definitely. Because it's not comprising of only fighters. We are having women who they married from there. If you see very well the group that is coming today, we have 14 Ugandans. One is from DRC, one is from South Sudan. We have 15 women and 11 others. So they are not only from Uganda. So we are handling with all of these governments to make, and the these agencies, including Amnesty International and Amnesty Commission here in Uganda, to make sure that all of these processes, including Amnesty, were completed before people are taken to be resettled. So all of those who are coming here, they are not going in any courts of law. They are going to go through those programs and they are resettled.
You are talking of some Ugandan, some non-Ugandan. Why non-Ugandan in Uganda?
Yes, when LRA went into the DRC, for example, they abducted some people there who they turned into fighters. And as we were hitting them hard and pushing them further and further, they moved with them, of course, as fighters in the Central African Republic. When they reached in Central African Republic, they also recruited or abducted people from there. So when they were in this place called Mboki in the Central African Republic, they were all together and they were contacted by a certain NGO which started mobilizing them to make sure that they are known to the government of Central African Republic, and they requested that they are repatriated, and they have been going through all of those processes of amnesty and so on up to the day of today and tomorrow when they are coming to Uganda to go through these other processes. We are in touch with the government of DRC, we are in touch with the government of South Sudan, we are in touch with the government of Central African Republic to make sure after they have completed this process, they are taken back to their countries.
So what happens now? They are brought in the country, they are received at Entebbe International Airport. Yes, what next?
Tomorrow, basically, we shall have this final function presided over by the Right Honorable Prime Minister Robert Anabanja as a final exercise. We shall welcome them, have some small party there for them to welcome them home. And later on, they will go in a transition center, which is based in Mijera, before they go on to the next stage. As I told you, we are on repatriation. They will go through the transition and start to be rehabilitated. After rehabilitation, they will begin to be reintegrated into the community, and they settle down. So that will be the resettlement process, and they will continue to live normally like any other Ugandan.
How long is the rehabilitation process? Because we understand you can't just get an ex-fighter, and just drop them a few days and then take them to the community because of the psychology, the mental effects. How long is this likely to take?
As far as I know, the rehabilitation process is gradual. You cannot simply release somebody when he's still hostile or looks he's missing some things. So I cannot tell that the rehabilitation process will take 6-10 months, but of course the agencies handling this knows that they will be doing gradual rehabilitation and reintegration process until it is complete. We don't have specific timings.
I want to thank you very much, Afande Deo Akiiki, for giving us time here at the Citizens Brief and speaking to Family TV. Several people, over 60 expected in the country, some Ugandans, some from DRC, some from South Sudan and Central African Republic. They will be brought in the country, they will be taken into repatriation process, entering to make sure they are safe for the community, and of course put out there into the public. The hope is members of the community receive these people, tolerate them, work with them, and love them and cherish them. My name is Ramsnon. This is the Citizens Brief.